Good morning, Beech class. So last week you were thinking about fractions of shapes and you did a fantastic job trying to name the different fractions that you were seeing and creating different fractions within shapes, so well done. This week we are moving on to fractions of amounts, and that for me means we've got to be using sweets. Now you might remember when we were doing fractions at school, when we did the shapes, we were cutting the cakes up, and when we were doing fractions of amount we used some little plastic stars. But today we're going to get started with some sweets. So just like everything else in maths, fractions are made up of different parts. Okay, so the part here at the bottom is called the denominator, and that tells you how many different groups you're going to be splitting something up into. And the number at the top is the numerator, and that just tells you how many of those groups you need to worry about, how many are you interested in, okay? So I'm going to start out with finding 1/3 of 12. So that tells me that I'm going to need 3 groups, okay? 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to need 12 things that I'm going to be sharing out. So I'm going to be sharing out my sweets. So can you count them with me, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And did you notice I kept going around in the same order, just like I do when I'm dividing, to make sure it's fair, because you told me last week that fractions need to all have parts that are exactly the same. All the parts of the fraction need to be equal, so I followed that rule that you sent me last week. So let's have a look. I've shared them out, and in each bowl I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 packets of sweets. So 1/3 of 12 equals 4, and I've got exactly the same in each bowl. Fantastic. Okay, the next one I'm going to be working out is 2/4 of 8. So that means, because I'm doing quarters, this time I am going to need 4 bowls, because I can see that my denominator is 4. So I've got 4 dishes, and this time I'm counting out 8 sweets, and I'm going to do it exactly the same. Keep giving 1, 1, 1, 1, going round until I've got 8. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this time my numerator is 2, so I don't just care about one group, I care about 2 groups. I need to think about how many are in 2 groups. So I can see easily that in one group I've got 2 packets of sweets, but I need to think about how many are in 2 groups. Okay, I'm going to move 2 of my bowls over. So I've got 2 bowls here. These are the 2 I'm going to check. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is my answer. 2/4 of 8 equals 4. And that's interesting to me, because I can see that 2/4 is exactly the same as half. I've got 2 bowls on this side and I've got 2 bowls on that side. So 2/4 is the same as half. And lots of you noticed that last week when you were working on your fractions of shapes as well. Now I've got one that's a little bit trickier, and as you know, I like to end with a nice tricky one, and I have put a few of these on your questions to work through, so be ready. This time it kind of goes the other way around, so I need to think a little bit more carefully about how I'm going to do this. It tells me that 4 equals 1/4 of something. Let me have a think. Well, I know I'm doing quarters, so I'm going to need 4 bowls, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm interested in one of them, but I already know that in one of them I have 4 things. What did you guys tell me at school? I remember. I'll put 4 things in that one, but you told me that all of my parts of my fraction need to be equal, so I need to put 4 in everything else. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 in that bowl. 1, 2, 3, 4 in that bowl, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in that bowl. Brilliant. So now I've found my 4 quarters. I know that 1 quarter has got 4 things in. Now I just need to work out how many things I have altogether. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 4 is 1 quarter of 16 things. Okay, so when you're having a go at your fraction questions, just remember that all of those parts must be equal. They've all got to be the same to make it fair. Remember that your denominator, that number at the bottom, tells you how many groups you have, and the number at the top, your numerator, tells you how many groups you are worried about. So, I hope you have a really good time having a go at your fractions. I definitely recommend using some sweets, and I definitely recommend having a snack afterwards. Have a super week. See you very soon with each class.